gamers, and welcome to episode 400 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for December 17th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
Everything's going good this week, Dan. Holidays are almost here.
Yeah.
And also, I'm doing this podcast on another undisclosed location.
Are you in the bunker? Did Elon Jet give up your location too? God, we gotta get these people off of Twitter, Dominic. All these journalists doxing Dominic. Can't believe it.
And I was in the crowd booing during the Chappelle's stand-up.
Were you?
He found out who I was. He found out. So I'm going to be sounding a little funny because I'm talking through my mic on my phone instead of a normal mic on a PC. But we can get right down to it, man. I know sports. My team had a bye week, so I didn't worry about it. I know Ravens won, even with their backup. So yeah, good for them. And they got a game on the Saturday. It's like 3 games today on Saturday for the NFL. So it's a busy sports day because you got some bowl games, some of the not so good bowl games for college. I'm gonna say not good, but the less low profile ones. I didn't even talk about last week that Maryland's in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. So there you go. I think the winner gets a year's supply of mayo from Duke's.
Delicious.
So that's good.
That's like one jar. Nobody needs that much mayonnaise.
Yeah. So yeah, it's you can get like get one of the huge Duke Mayos bought from like a Sam's Club or like
oh my God,
or something.
That's like 3 years.
You'll be good a very long time. Well, actually, it'll go bad before you even finish.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What else? We got here. I mean, the championship is Alabama's not in there, so I'm happy. I know Alabama's not happy, but that's okay. Who cares? They'll be okay. It's going to be Georgia versus Ohio State in the semifinals, and it's going to be let me see here, Michigan versus TCU in the other semifinal. So I'm rooting. I have no rooting interest in this. I'm just want to see some good games. That's all. Of course, I'm rooting for Maryland against NC State, who they're playing in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. So hope they win. NC State is actually ranked 23, so it could be a tall task for Maryland, but we'll see. They played Michigan and Ohio State pretty tough. And they're both going for the championship. So hey, it's a good chance Maryland might can beat NC State. The basketball team, it's lost. I think the last 2 games they had some tough. The first game they lost was closer. They got to be closer. The second one I think it wasn't as close. UCLA beat them. So that probably knocks them. It might knock them out the top 25. Not sure. But I don't know. I wasn't really expecting much. I mean, I didn't know what to expect for this year, honestly, at all. I mean, I was surprised they got ranked. I mean, they weren't ranked at the beginning of the year, so obviously not a lot of people had them that high either. But I mean, hopefully they improve. I mean, hopefully this team is competitive at least throughout the year. I just want them to at least get to the tournament. And this is a new coach, so hopefully things get better as the year goes on. That's all I can really hope for with Maryland. What else happened? I think Aaron Judge is staying with the Yankees.
Okay.
I think he got a contract with the Yankees, and he's sticking with that one, and that pisses me off because I was like, darn it, I wanted him to leave. So I want the Yankees to not still be good and not have any big people there for at least a few years. God damn, man. It's like I can't get a break from them. Oh, there's other things happening in baseball too. I don't really know all the news in that. I'll get to that one later. Basketball, still early season. People playing some games, people are not playing. I know Steph is hurt right now, but it just seems like it's always like this every year, man. It's like stars aren't here to play in. This sucks. my Wizards suck. I mean, I don't know when the last. I'm trying to remember the last time I seen them win a game. This thing like they've been losing a lot in a row, and I was like, damn. And I haven't seen Bradley Beal in a while, and I'm like, damn, they just pay this man all this money, and I'm not gonna see him play. It's like, what the hell? Whatever. That's all I really think of in sports, really that big. So I mean, the Ravens are playing against the Browns, which is huge because Browns got that quarterback back, Watson. This will be his third game. He lost a game last week to Cincinnati, which I mean, Cincinnati they're trying to get to where the Ravens are now, take advantage of Ravens being hurt, and they are looking good. So yeah, I want to. Yeah, hopefully this is a good game. Or for Ravens fans, hope it's a good game for them as far as that it's not a good game for the Browns as they blow them out. So it's that they probably don't want a stressful game right now. But thing is, Lamar's still not back, so we gotta see how they can hold it down. All right, you got any wrestling news?
Nah, nothing this week.
All right, so I guess we can talk about what we've been watching, and apparently there was a Spider-Verse trailer, so you can tell me about that?
Yeah, just a kind of quick thing to go along with them announcing the release date for that next movie. It's just more kind of the same, but you see a ton of different Spider-Men, including the ones from the Marvel Spider-Man game on the PlayStation, Miles and Peter. So that's cool. I'm just excited for that movie. The first one is incredible, so I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I haven't seen it. I didn't know a trailer came out, so I haven't even seen it. Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll go into what we're playing. So what you been playing?
So I've been playing more of Astrobot. I think I originally mentioned kind of touching that a little bit when I first talked about getting the PS5. I did finally get my new TV. The PS5 games on that look much better. I think I mentioned on my PC monitor, like God of War looked a little bit washed out, and I adjusted settings, and I still didn't get it where I was like happy with it. But putting it on this TV, the blacks are looking black, the bright colors are looking shiny. So I don't know if that's an HDR thing or if that's just a better display for what it needs to do or whatever. But it's also 4K versus, 1440p on my monitor. So I guess that maybe has something to do with just general graphics looking better, smoother and whatnot. But I booted up Astrobot because that's something I can play when my daughter's around, which I can't really do with God of War. And now that the PS5 is out in the living room connected to the TV, I have to choose my times to play things like God of War.
How about you change the language on that? You say you can't play with your daughter. Just say you choose not.
I choose not to. Sorry.
Because I know plenty of people who play Call of Duty and their kids are just right there.
Yeah. Yeah, she one of the games I'll talk a little bit more about later, High on Life, I was playing that, and initially she was in the room and she was like, I don't like that. And I was like, yeah, get it out of here. Because I had my headphones in, so she wasn't hearing it, but even just like the way the enemies kind of like melt and explode, I was like, yeah, you don't need to be seeing this. Please go away. So yeah, Astrobot, played a good bit of that. There are like 4 levels with 4 distinct areas per level. Each of them uses kind of their own gimmick to the controller. Like there's one bit where you get in a ball and you use the touchpad to move the ball around. There's one where you're using the new shoulder buttons as like this springy creature to bounce around places. It's a very good mini game thing. Like as a thing that came packed in with this console, I think it's very cool. And it's not that it's just like, oh, this is cool for a free thing. I think as a budget title, this would have been fine to also sell. So I appreciate the fact that they did the least amount and actually just, gave us the game. It's a lot of fun, and it just has so much nostalgia, even for someone that's not a huge early PlayStation adopter like myself. Like, seeing some of that stuff from the PlayStation 1 era is really cool. Seeing the multi-taps for the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 that you get is sort of like Super Smash Brothers style trophies that you then collect in this one big room together with the 4 different like phases of the PlayStation. It's really neat. They did a good job of recreating all of those accessories and consoles in digital form. And when you initially collect them, you can even take the controller and spin it around in your hands, and the trophy moves around to match the controller kind of in 3D space, which is neat. Some of them you can even like open the drawer on and stuff like that too, touching the touchpad. So it's really cool. It's very much like a love letter to the PlayStation. I would like to really see them, because I've heard good things about that Astrobots VR thing too. Like, I would be into them giving this developer like free reign to make a full-sized Astrobot game, because the platforming in it feels great. Like, we talk about Little Big Planet all the time about how loose and kind of junky it feels as far as being a platforming game, but this is just like tight. It feels wonderful. So shit, man, just give them Little Big Planet and turn Little Big Planet into, I mean, I think they've already done that, moved it away from the creation and made it more of into a platforming game. But yeah, they should lean into that, or just stick with Astrobot. Astrobot could be a cute little mascot in the same way that Little Big Planet kind of is, probably bigger. And yeah, just using all the controller functions, I think it's really neat. That controller definitely has a lot of potential. I'd like to see how it is utilized in more games, but from what I've heard, it sounds like that developers don't use that a lot in like the third party games. So like God of War even feels, I'm starting to notice it a little bit more, like how it's using the triggers just to maybe like make it slightly different feeling when I hold down to throw the axe, but it's nothing like mind blowing in the same way that like some of the Astrobot stuff is. Like, it really feels like a different thing that I wouldn't get out of an Xbox controller. And the speaker in there too also adds a little added element. Like, when you're the little springy robot guy, you kind of choose whether you're going to go left or right by leaning the controller. But as you're leaning the controller, it also has like the creak of the spring coming out of the controller. So it's really like, oh, that's kind of immersive. Yeah, so that game's fantastic as an experience. God of War, I've played another like 30 minutes to an hour. I'm in a mine now in the dwarf realm. No real story beat that I've hit yet, so just kind of waiting for that next thing to hit. I'm looking for Tyr, the god of war in that mythology, in Norse mythology. So I'm guessing I'll find him eventually, and then we're going to go beat down on Odin or something. So, have you been playing any more of that yet, Dominic?
No. Because I've been focusing on Persona 5, man.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to play too many different games at a time. So I've been, and plus, I mean, I'm just into that. I'm just into Persona 5 again. Like, playing good God of War, I realized I wasn't really into playing it at the moment. Mm-hmm. Because I tried. So I talked to my friend about it, because he said it was good. I said, yeah. I mean, it's so far it's just as good as the first one, anyways. And the first one I thought was great. Yeah. I'm just not in the mood right now for that game for some reason. Like, I kind of want to go back and play the first one on my PC with cheats more so than play this one, honestly. So I don't know. Gotcha. I mean, I'll get there someday, but I think it's going to probably be. You might finish the game before I do. Honestly.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm the same kind of, like, it's taken me a little bit of effort to go to play that game. It's nothing against the game. It's a good game, and I do want to see what happens story wise before it gets spoiled too much for me anywhere. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, there's so many other things out right now. I'm trying to do better at kind of, especially the stuff that shows up on Game Pass, giving it a little taste just to talk about something different on here, especially, and just try it out. Because, I'm paying for Game Pass. It's like I might as well put it to good use and at least sample all these different games, even if it's not something that necessarily sticks with me. But yeah, tell me about Persona, because we both played the other one.
All right, so on Persona, I defeated the third boss. Like the third guy, they go to change his heart. He's a mob guy. He was stealing people's money and he was like getting people to get in debt with him so he controls them and takes their money, and then they've got to work for him and make money for him. But he was doing it with kids too, like people in high school. So that's how we really got into it. So and then we stopped him. Now I'm kind of in the in between of that and our next target. We don't have a target yet, but we're doing exams. So right now, we just finished exams. They're about to celebrate finishing exams and also celebrating basically being that target. And I guess the next big storyline comes about from there. It's a whole fun. I mean, it's a lot of things I've done. I mean, I said this before that I haven't done before. I know what else I do. I think you could go to this jazz club before, but I don't think I did. Like you could take somebody to the jazz club and then also boost your stats up with that person. And I'm trying to think. I think it boosts like some kind of technical stat, something to do with fighting. And also you have these combos you can do with partners, which I don't remember doing in the first game. So like every now and then, like it'll be a cutscene, somebody talking to a member, not you, because I don't think I can do a combo with anybody yet. It's the other members. They talk to each other and they talk about like, hey, let's do this move together, and then it's a special move you can do during a fight that they do together. It's pretty cool and funny. So far, the two I've seen have been pretty funny. But it looks neat, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I know I've been wearing that Christmas outfit now in the game since I was like, hey, it's Christmas now, so I can wear this Christmas outfit during the game, like these costumes. Even though in cutscenes they don't have those costumes on because the cutscenes are already done, and It's like they have their original one, so it kind of takes you out of it. I was like, I couldn't draw it in. I mean, I understand, but it still sucks. Yeah. I mean, I'm still having fun with that game, man. I mean, it's an RPG, so it's a long game. I probably maybe halfway through, or either a little less than halfway or at halfway. So still got a lot of game left, but I should be finishing faster than I did the original Persona 5 because of the way I am. So I'm using a cheat to do more stuff in a day, so it's making things like I think soon it's going to get to a point where I'm just skipping days because I'm like, oh, I got nothing to do because I've done everything. So I'm just doing regular hangouts, like because you can hang out with friends and stuff. But see, I ain't do that a lot because I was trying to do everything, and to do everything, hanging out was just something extra to do. Right. You didn't have to do it. So now I'm just kind of hanging out, doing things, and seeing different dialogue happen. That's pretty, some of them funny and whatever. The game is fun. I mean, I still like it.
Nice.
So, and I'm trying to think of, I don't think I played anything else new except for High on Life, which you're about to talk about. Because they did have a lot of the Riot games come out.
Yeah.
Probably all of them, really, right? On the Xbox. And unfortunately, I might download them just to see how much I can do by myself before I play with anybody. Because it's pretty intimidating because now, like, oh no, going to this game, I'm brand freaking new. But there probably maybe some ways to be fair. But it's funny how all this, they're just like another Blizzard now. Like, the games they have are games that Blizzard had. Well, except for Hearthstone, because I don't know if that exists anymore. but I mean they were there before Hearthstone. But like they have a card game, just like Blizzard. They have a strategy game like Blizzard too, and they also got Blizzard got Overwatch. They got Valorant, and yeah, so they are basically like another Blizzard essentially. And yeah, I want to try those games out to see if I like them or not. Maybe that card game is probably pretty cool. I mean, I'll like that game. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I forgot the card game was called. What was it called? Hold on, I pull up right here. It was something with the little chick.
Is it Legends of Runeterra?
Legend of Runeterra. I thought that was another. Yeah, maybe. Then what is that other battle game then?
There's
It's another.
what is that other one? Side games.
Team Fight Tactics.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that.
That
sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's like a little board. It looks like they're on a board game, like a board, and you're kind of hitting the opponent. You put your team building skills to the test of the Team Fight Tactics Ultimate Multiplayer Player versus Player Auto Battler from the studio behind League of Legends. Okay. Let's have the big brain
set in the world of Runeterra, so that makes sense. Interesting.
I mean, so Runeterra ain't the set of League of Legends? That's a different world?
I'm sure it's the same. It's got to be, right? It's an offshoot world of an offshoot world.
Yeah, Runeterra, yeah, it's a card game.
Auto Battler. I'm not sure what an Auto Battler is. Is that like auto chess? I remember people talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
What that is.
And I thought they had a single player game. Or not single player, but at least something that can play. But maybe one of these games, maybe Valorant has something like Overwatch where I can just play with bots. I don't know.
Yeah. They also had the Ruin King game and then that Hex Tech Mayhem one. I think the Ruin King that's a turn-based RPG.
I like how they have the main story. They still have main story times in these games. And that confuses me because I was like, main story? What do you mean? It's a multiplayer game.
Right.
And it says like 41 hours for Valorant and League of Legends.
That means it takes 41 hours to get through the tutorials.
1,039 hours, Daniel, for the main story.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, but 1,741 hours for main story and extras.
Oh, okay.
And you want to complete everything, Daniel? 2,777 hours. What are these numbers?
That seems undervalued there.
I mean, what are these numbers? I mean, like, if it's a single player game thing, I can see, but I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
To complete the main objectives, just enough to see the credits roll. You see credits roll in League of Legends?
I feel like I can probably go to the menus and watch the credits roll.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll talk about the game that came out. Big game came out this week. High on Life.
Yeah.
So what is this? What is this game created by? I mean, I know it's got Rick and Morty guy with it, but who are the creators?
It's Squatch Games, which I'm not entirely sure what they've done before. I'm going to look that up right now. Let's see. Our games.
And this game.
Oh, okay. They also did Trover Saves the Universe, which was also a Justin Roiland associated game. You played a little bit of that, right?
I don't remember that. I got to look at it.
It's the one where the guy has faces in his eyes.
What's it called again?
Trover Saves the Universe. Yeah, Trover.
Okay, yeah, I see it. All right. I want to say yes. I recognize it. I recognize this.
I thought you had played a little bit of that. I don't remember if it was a VR game.
It wasn't a VR game.
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah,
at least I played. No, I just saw it. I don't think I played it.
Yeah, so they made that previous to this. They also made a game called Accounting Plus. But basically the idea here is it's first person shooter, but in this world, your guns are aliens and they talk to you. So far, I've gotten 2 weapons. I've gotten the gun that you start out with, which is voiced by Justin Roiland.
Oh,
basically.
Wait a minute, yo. But Trover is a VR game, but I never played it.
Okay, gotcha.
At least it has a VR bundle with it. I'm assuming it's a.
Yeah, I'm
VR
seeing
supported.
that you can do a Oculus Rift one.
Yeah.
But it might not be out on like the Quest or something like that. It might have been pre that stuff. So basically Justin Roiland is doing the Morty voice in this as the first gun that you get. You also get a knife pretty early on. I beat the first boss, and around there is where I got the knife. And that thing just kind of yells at you. And it's a knife in a first-person shooter game. So it's basically like an accessory. It's not something that you switch to and are constantly getting voices from. Leading up to this, I was kind of apprehensive about like how much of the Morty thing they were going to do. Because like I like Rick and Morty, but like just too much of it can be too much of it. But honestly, with the way this game has played out so far, there's this kind of weird balance that, like, when I'm not doing anything and I would like my gun to be kind of keeping me entertained, it's not. And when there's action happening, that's when my gun wants to pipe up. And I'm like, I'm trying to listen to you, but I'm also trying to focus on shooting these things. But they're also saying stupid stuff, like the enemies that I'm shooting, so I'd like to hear them. So it's kind of like, I wish I could like balance this out a little more. Because honestly, like in the between times, the gun's not talking enough. Because I saw there was an option in the settings to like turn up or down the frequency of the gun dialogue, which is good because like I'm sure there are people out there that are like, this is too much. I don't like Justin Roiland. But like maybe just don't play this game then.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe like
I don't see it being that much fun without it. I mean, because the shooting is not great or anything.
No, it's fine so far. It holds up well enough that I'm enjoying the gameplay along with listening to the stupid stuff that is coming out of my gun. Yeah, like so far I'm pretty positive on the game. I think it's fun. I think the voice stuff is all right so far. I definitely would like there to be some variety, but I'm also intrigued to see how they handle that. Like, am I going to miss out on dialogue, or is there going to be like, this dialogue is better when you're in this thing, so like I'm missing out on funnier dialogue because I decided to use this weapon instead of this other weapon or something like that. But I think overall, so far, it's all right. It looks pretty good. It's not like, wow, this is visually impressive, but I think it holds up pretty well. Even like your sister, who's a human character in this game, as opposed to like all the other kind of weird cartoony monsters, like she looks sort of cartoony and weird, but like not in a way that I'm like, oh my God, this human looks awful in this game kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I like the visuals. Yeah, the visuals, like in the way the gun talks and expresses itself, and some of the aliens and some of the environments, they look really good. But some of the things look okay. Like it's like great, but it's not like you said, like super impressive. But I think the gun visuals look like the way it looks,
the way it animates.
I think that looks. Yeah, I think that looks really good.
Yeah, they do.
I think the colors, how colorful it is too, is pretty great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you played more than I did. I mean, I got to the first boss, but I didn't defeat her yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I like the comedy. Like I enjoy it. I don't really find it annoying, at least not yet. Anyway. I kind of wish. Because sometimes they talk when the action's happening, so it's a lot happier. Like I had to turn the FSX down, so I can hear the dialogue a whole lot better. And you don't talk, like you're that silent protagonist guy.
Yeah.
So the only thing talk is everybody around you is talking. But yeah, the game, this game, I mean, it's fun. I mean, I'm having fun so far with it. I like it. I mean, I saw reviews and they weren't that great on it, but the user reviews were high on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. The one review I read from Game Informer is really like he doesn't really like the comedy, things of that nature. So that's fine. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't know what to say.
A taste thing. Subjective.
Yeah, but exactly. Some people felt like, hey, this is one of those games. Yeah, I wouldn't. They say, well, people who haven't played it say it sounds like a game I wouldn't buy, but I'm glad it's on Game Pass, which is always great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would bought this, especially at full price, but if there was like a demo of me playing it, I think I would have at least waited for like a sale or something.
Yeah,
on it.
That's what it would have been for me. Would be like, oh, it hit $19. I've been waiting to play this game, and then I download it and never play it. But they would have got my money, Dominic.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's on Game Pass. I mean, that's what I'm glad I got Game Pass for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before I can play these games that I probably would never buy, and since they don't have demos, I would never have tried out. I would never know about
them. Yeah, absolutely. I'm enjoying this game, so I want to play more of it. It seems pretty linear, which I appreciate. If this game clocks in under 10 hours, I don't see it becoming something that's like, oh, this comedy is going on too long or anything like that. I think this will be all right.
All right. So what else we got? That's it.
That's it for me.
So I guess that's we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And now we're flashbacking to 2012, 10 years ago. We got a couple games to mention. And the first one we're going to mention is the special game, Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. Tell me about this. It came on the Windows.
Yeah, so basically, apparently it started out as a fan-made game and then as like a celebration for the 25th anniversary for both of those games, Mega Man and Street Fighter. Capcom helped to release it as an actual product. It seems kind of neat. It's basically like a regular Mega Man game, but as a replacement for the bosses and the like main enemies, you have Street Fighter characters. So it sounds kind of cool. I don't remember this being a thing, really.
Yeah, I never heard of this either, man. That does sound cool. Did it ever end up coming to anything else?
No, it looks like it's a PC exclusive thing. So I wonder how you could get that. I can't imagine that's a thing found on Steam nowadays.
I mean, Capcom helped to bring it out. We're like, yeah, where can you get it?
On the Pirate Bay, Dominic. On the 7 Seas.
The Open Seas, yeah. Open Seas.
Yeah, it's nothing showing up on Steam for that game. Just Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Marvel vs. Capcom.
I'm still waiting for Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
You'll get it one of these days. Bound to happen. Once they finish Tekken 8 or whatever, they'll come out with that.
All right. So here we go. What's the next game we got here? We got Connect Party, which is a Double Fine Connect game. So what is this?
Yeah, so basically this was the follow-up to Double Fine's Happy Fun Theater or Happy Time Theater, which was an earlier Connect game that it basically had like small little mini games or things to do as like a group when you had your Connect on. It was like, it would just have stuff that you could interact with. Like there would be a scene and on the TV, if you did like a motion, you could throw fireballs at people and stuff like that. So it was just kind of this. Yeah. So it was basically kind of a party thing that used the augmented reality to enhance your experience. So it was pretty cool.
All right. So that's it for 2012. So yeah, we're just closing up the year. We're getting some of these games. There's other games out there, but nothing really worth talking about.
Yeah.
So now we're going back 20 years, 2002. So this is a huge one. that I didn't even know was released because I just pay attention to the U.S. releases of games, So, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker was released 20 years ago in Japan. So the Japanese got this for Christmas while we were all crying and waiting for it till next year to get it. Even though some people who didn't like it, they would call it Zelda. They say, "Oh, look, it's Zelda," which I never thought that was a insult. I always liked it. The look of that Zelda game. I mean, because this is the reason why I got a GameCube.
Yeah.
Like when the GameCube went down in price again, because what did it start off as? $250?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so it was like $199. So my PlayStation had went up. So I was like, oh, I'm about to put this in the shop. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go buy me a GameCube. And then I went ahead, bought a GameCube, bought Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
And first I pre-ordered Zelda so I can get the enhanced the Ocarina of Time. Yeah, and then they had the harder version, which I didn't even. I never touched the Master Quest. Never touched it. Never touched that shit because when I heard it was harder, I was like, "The fuck I want to touch this for?"
Yeah,
I played the shit out of that game, the Ocarina of Time one, and still got stuck at the same place in the water temple. So I the same place. No, I know my fault. Not the water temple. It took me a longest time to always beat the water temple, but I always end up beating it. And then I get stuck in the desert when you have to freaking hide from those
the
Gerudo ladies, whatever the fuck they are. And stealth. I hate stealth. So I was like, I never could get past that point. But then finally getting the Legends of Wind Waker, playing that, loved it. I mean, this is what I was waiting for because the look of the game. I always say like, "Oh my god, this looks exactly like a cartoon." I say this looks good. Like I see never saw it in motion, but always just looking at the screenshots was good enough for me. And maybe not being on the internet, I didn't know people didn't like. Some people really didn't like it, like they just didn't like the. Oh man, I don't like what the look of it is. So man, me getting that game and playing that, oh my god, I played that game for hours. I had the strategy guide. I was trying to do everything I could do. I don't know if it had anything exclusive. Did it have something exclusive that you only could use with the Game Boy Advance?
They had the tingle tracker thing when you hooked up the Game Boy
That's right. Advance. So I never could do that. And I held Nintendo for that. So I was like, I'm not buying Game Boy Advance to do this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game is I to this day is still my favorite one. Still my favorite Zelda game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's incredible. The moment when you go under the sea and then like it's black and white, but then the color comes back to that castle is so incredible. Because it makes you feel like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be like the cat, like the Tom. So supposed to be like, oh, that could be like Ocarina of Time. This is I'm in the future, and that was all in the past. Yeah, it was crazy,
and everything got shrunken under the sea.
I can't believe they haven't released the Wind Waker HD on the Switch, and now you're talking about how it's been 20 years. That means next year will be the 20th year anniversary for the United States release. But if we're talking about that time frame, we're talking about we're talking about Breath of the Wild 2. We're talking about Tears of the Kingdom. So it doesn't seem like they would release this game on the Switch around that same time then. So it feels like they're kind of missing that window, which makes me wonder if they'll do it at all. And it feels like such a waste to have just released it on the Wii U. I mean, considering all the other games that they've taken from the Wii U and put on the Switch, and to not have done that for this game is disappointing.
Yeah, it does. I'm thinking about, that's so stupid. Like, it don't make sense at all.
I mean, I know people were talking about Twilight Princess too, but that game's not as good, so.
For some reason, I thought that was released on the Switch.
Nah, not yet.
I thought that was already out on the Switch. No, well, I don't care about that. All right, anyway. And another game, Crimson Sea, which is a a KOE game. It's an action action JRPG game. It has JRPG elements to it, as I should say. But it actually got decent reviews. It actually got like around the high 70s in a lot of publications. So it's a known game. It's probably one of those lost gems that it was only on Xbox. So not a lot of people got to play it.
Japanese game on Xbox. Come on, Dominic. Nobody buys that.
Yeah.
Doesn't sell in America because it's a Japanese game. Doesn't sell in Japan because it's an Xbox. That's the worst of both worlds.
Yeah. So they what I'm about to say. So when they got a sequel, it did come on PlayStation 2. I don't know how that one did, but this was like people. It did, like I said, it did get reviewed well. So yeah, it's just one of those lost gem games that should be mentioned. I remember seeing it, but I never really thought about ever playing it. Well, first of all, I never had Xbox at the time, so I definitely was not thinking about it. By the time I got an Xbox, it was a forgotten gem. So I just never thought of it. All right, so now we're going back 30 years. 30 years ago, this game came out, Tiny Toon Adventures, Busters Bust Loose. This is, if you know Tiny Toons is like the little version of Looney Tunes. This is what people my age basically grew up on. They love this. Most people I know love the show. They used to watch it. Always liked it, like Tiny Toons. Watched that. Animaniacs came. I think I watched like the first couple of seasons of Animaniacs. Well, sees whatever how they do it back then. But I wasn't like a huge animated fan. I didn't mind it though. But Tiny Toons was a show. That was a big thing. And in the game, I remember playing, it wasn't this one, but I remember playing Tiny Toon games on the Sega Genesis, and I liked them. And later on in life, when I started reading about older games, I hear how people, they like these games. Like they talk about how good these games were, like as a platformer. And this one particularly, it got rated pretty well. I mean, it was like in the 80s that I saw this game on a site. I mean, let me see. Yeah, what computer and video games get a 94. Nintendo Power gave it a 15.4 out of 20. I guess that's good. I don't know what the hell review. I don't understand it. It's whatever. Yeah, but they got pretty damn good scores, and it's been ranked on other people's lists for like top Super Nintendo games. Like IGN got it for its 99th out of 100 games. I mean, that sounds good. I don't know how many games. I don't know how many games were released on Super Nintendo, but that sounds good.
10,000.
Okay, but then that's really good. But yeah, but yeah, this is what Konami also like did this. Like Konami, they always seem to do licensed games pretty damn well back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like that was it was pretty cool. Licensed games, like even when I think of it as a kid, I was like, okay, I probably liked it as a kid. But then when people talk about them and they even like review it today's standards, they say, no, those games were actually really good. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So it wasn't just being a kid that it was, the characters I watched cartoons on. They actually made a good game. While versus today, now you just think of like, oh, if this is some SpongeBob game, it might suck. It's like, it might suck. Even though some people say, oh, yeah, I like the King Bottom, but I'm like, nah, y'all didn't like it because y'all were kids. And like my games are actually good, and they were for kids. In your face.
This actually had the cover story of the Nintendo Power too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about cover story, but it was on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was that popular. I mean, it was Tiny Toons was huge back then.
I do not know where they're getting a score from this, though, because the section that they take you to in the magazine is the now playing, and it shows like a positive and a negative. Like, positive, Buster's high-speed dash is great. Look for outstanding graphics and sound. Also, look for a wide variety of game situations.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'll go with the words, Daniel.
Exactly. They could be, because there are far more positive words than there are negative words. So I would find that hilarious if that's literally what it is like the computer was like, there are a 14.5 percentage words out of this 20.
All right. So that is it for the flashback segment. So we're going to take a quick break when we get back and get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. Let's get to the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic, after our big blowout last week with the Video Game Awards, there's not a ton of big stories out here, but there are a couple of things worth mentioning. First up, Sony announced that, well, they kind of confirmed with Insomniac that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will be releasing in fall of 2023. No specific release date, no trailer or anything like that. But that's interesting news. I'm glad to hear that's coming so soon, because hopefully that means we'll be seeing like Wolverine by 2024, early 2025. Because as much as I'm excited for Spider-Man 2, it's going to be more of the same, and I really want to see what they end up doing with a Wolverine game. Because that's going to be a completely different gameplay style. Do they pull that off as well as they pull off Spider-Man?
Nah, the Wolverine's going to be swinging around. Like, instead of swinging, he's just going to be kind of jumping, like, and clawing his way on buildings and stuff like that. And
so Hulk like Ultimate Destruction, there you go.
Yeah, basically.
It works for them, why not? Yeah, so I'm excited for that game. I'm glad to see that they have a timeline there for when that's going to come. On the other side of the spectrum, Dominic, we got a delay here. Hogwarts Legacy, only for the previous gen, the PS4 and Xbox One and Switch versions. That's being delayed until April 4th. Yes, your generation. But the PS5 and Xbox Series stuff is still coming out February 10th. There was also a new trailer out for that. I did not see that. They've shown plenty of that game at this point. I feel like I know what that game is. I'm intrigued to see how it turns out review-wise, if it ends up being as good as it seems like it could be.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for that game.
Yeah. Seems
cool. I won't be playing it no time soon, apparently.
And then another one I got here, PlayStation VR 2. We know that's coming out February 22nd, but Sony has also announced that Resident Evil Village is going to get a VR mode update for the original game. So if you own that game on the PS5, you will get a free upgrade that will include the VR version of that game. So no independent Village VR game that you have to buy, which is very cool of them. That's nice. If you already own that game, and you play that in VR.
The least they can do. Because you can't play the other Resident Evil game on there.
Yeah, that still is just such a big detriment to that system, I feel like. And I've seen people who are well versed in VR and its development talk about like why you wouldn't want to do that, because of like the change in from outside tracking to inside out tracking and things like that, and the effort that you would have to put in to make that work. But the reality of it is like just having that library allows you to like make it more of a value. Like it feels like more of a thing that I can use it with all of these different things, as opposed to me being locked into this library that you're promising me on the PS5. And they are pretty constantly announcing new things coming. They just recently announced a couple more titles. Fantavision, that early, is it a PS2 game with the fireworks?
Yeah, PS2.
Yeah, they're doing a VR version of that. That's going to be coming out at launch, I believe. There's stuff like that, but at the same time, like I look at any of the things that can be used with the PC, and it's like, oh, I can use this with basically any game that's ever came out on a PC VR kind of thing, you know. And the Quest, for example, like I can just hook that up with a USB cable, and now all of the previous VR titles that I've owned, I can play.
And that's what I don't get. I'm sorry, like you keep talking about like, oh, because of the technology you're using now. I'm like, that sounds like excuses.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's 100% excuses. Yeah, they just don't see it as a value proposition for them. They don't think that doing the work to make those old games work is going to be worth it to them in sales. And we'll see how it shakes out. I want it to succeed because I want VR to succeed, but I want them to realize that that was a mistake, you know, and hopefully that means making it so. And I think there have been some rumors out there, or maybe it was just some speculation that you could use this thing for PC VR. You know, if that's something that they allow you to do, even if it's after some struggles early on, you know, they sell through their first allotment because it's a new product, everybody wants it, but then sales kind of taper off as they don't really have the product to deliver alongside of it. And then they're like, oh, how do we still keep selling this thing? You know, open it up to, you know, allow for PC games. Like, hell yeah, let's do that. But we'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I mean, we're just mere months away from its release now. It's kind of wild that it's so soon, but we're getting into 2023 here, Dominic.
Are there any contests to win a free one?
I'm sure if we get closer to launch, there'll probably be something. You gotta be a part of the PlayStation All-Stars or whatever that loyalty program is now that they've got. You gotta sign up for that.
Well, I'm not working in retail stores, so I know.
Oh no, not that one. The new.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, that thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
No, because that new retail loyalty site, ever since they switched it over to the one thing, it just never seemed as good or as
it didn't.
Advantageous. So.
Just all right. Xbox, they're when theirs changed too, and I was like, oh man, this is.
Yeah, because they didn't verify for a very long time. But that was the crazy thing about the PlayStation one. It was like you got stuff free. They just slashed the barcode on it so you can take it to GameStop or whatever. Whereas like the Microsoft one, depending on the level of expert you were, you had to pay for it at a different price.
Yeah, a very discounted price.
Yeah.
But then it started asking for more, like later on, it was like, oh, you got to do more tests. And you weren't getting as much points like you used to. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not.
Yeah.
This is going to be too much.
Not worth it anymore. Yeah. Those were the days, Dominic. Those were the days. All right. The last news story I got here, Dominic. Amazon has announced that they are publishing the next Tomb Raider game. What do you think there?
I don't know what to think. what does it mean? Like, are they still being done by Crystal Dynamics?
Yes. So remember, Crystal Dynamics got sold off out of Square Enix to who is it now? Was it Koch Media they got sold to? Let me see if I can find it here.
And what, they sold it to Amazon or something?
No, they're just doing a publishing deal with them. It's not them being owned by the Embracer Group. That's who they're part of the Embracer Group now. And I guess Embracer Group basically licensed out, you know, Tomb Raider to them to publish. Embracer Group being the ones that also own like THQ Nordic and stuff. So yeah, that's.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if that's a play from Amazon to like also potentially do like a series, because there were a lot of news stories this week. I didn't include them, but as part of this, like I mentioned them here, but like they're doing a God of War series seemingly based off of these latest games at Amazon. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody's doing a Horizon Zero Dawn series. Yeah, God of War. Like they're doing a TV series.
Okay,
yeah, sorry. I know I'm switching between games and they're doing a video series. So I wonder if they're making a play like, oh, we'll publish this next Tomb Raider game, but then we'll also get exclusive rights to make the next Tomb Raider movie or make the next Tomb Raider TV show or something like that. I could see them trying to leverage that, because like they're not going to take this Tomb Raider game and make it Luna exclusive or something like that. There's no way that would happen. You know, the amount of money that it would take to make a AAA Tomb Raider game, to lock it into Luna that nobody knows even exists.
They can afford it.
I mean, they could, but it just doesn't
I
seem
know,
like a
but
worthy
why do
gamble.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it worth to even do that? Yeah,
The
exactly.
return on investments just doesn't add up there. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to know that they are
out of
working on.
spite, just to say, just to watch the world burn.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos is like, you wanted to make Elon Musk the richest man in the world. What about me? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I there was a poll recently that I think Crystal Dynamics did that talked about a Legacy of Kain game, and I would like them to also be working on one of those if they are, if they're working on stuff. Let's maybe see one of those too. I can't remember. Are Crystal Dynamics also the studio that was helping Microsoft with one of their games, Perfect Dark or something? Can't remember who was helping with Perfect Dark now.
I don't know. Yeah, who was helping Perfect Dark? It was the guy who did Hitman, right?
I don't think it was IEO, because they're the ones working on the Bond game now. Perfect Dark, Xbox Series.
No, it's the Splinter Cell people.
Ubisoft. Let's see. Who is helping? Okay, yeah. Crystal Dynamics is joining the project to assist development. Yeah, so they are.
Oh.
Which, I mean, that makes me excited.
It makes sense because they work with a game that was starred by a woman. So, yeah.
Exactly. I wonder what Perfect Dark ends up being. Because, like, honestly, if they turn that into, like, a third-person shooter in the vein of, like, a Tomb Raider, but with more guns, like, that could be really cool. Not that a first-person... And aliens, yeah. Not that a first-person shooter can't be, but they've got other first-person shooters. My battery's low
from my headset.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me get my other one.
Okay. Hello.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got my other one. All right.
Yeah. Man. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, talking about the premieres during the Game Awards. But, like, one of these years has to be a big year for Microsoft, right? Like, all of these games that they've announced.
Well, I guess it's next year.
It's always next year, Dominic. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
you always said next year, Daniel.
Like, think about it. We saw a trailer for Perfect Dark. We saw a trailer for Fable. Now, they were both like tone pieces, CGI stuff. It wasn't like you were seeing gameplay, but like they put some effort into making a thing that they could show the public to announce that that game was happening.
So did that nice trailer with that monkey for Beyond Good and Evil 2, Daniel. And where the hell is that? No. How many years ago was that?
Too many. Way too many. Good Lord. Yeah, that's rough. One of these days, Dominic, next year is when that's going to come out. It's fine.
It's been as many years as we've been waiting for Beyond Good and Evil from that other teaser that they saw from that point on.
Good Lord. Probably.
The one where you saw the pig and her. That, how many years was that in between that and that trailer to that trailer now? I wonder how many years.
That's. Oh no, I didn't even think about that. Oh no, Dominic, that game's gonna come out eventually, right? Totally gonna come out. No. It's so crazy that they made it just a completely different thing too.
Well, what happened with him again? I forgot what happened to him. Something about sexual harassment. I don't know.
Yeah, but was that? It was Michelle.
I don't know what sexual harassment.
It was toxic work environment, like it was bad boss stuff, right? It wasn't necessarily. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily sexual stuff, but he now he's like running a zoo or something with his wife. Crazy Canadians down, or French Canadians, French people. I don't know, just French people, I think. There's an official website for Beyond Good and Evil still too, Dominic. I believe in a thing called love. This is happening. So 2018 was that last one. When was the first one here? This first one was... That's 2020. First trailer. Oh my God. It was 2008. 2008 was that first trailer. 2018, maybe it was 2017. Somebody's got 2017 here. Either way, it was about 10 years, 9 years between those. And now here we are, 5 years. Well, 5 years. We'll be 6 years next year. So yeah, it's almost equidistant between us seeing that last trailer and that last trailer to the first trailer. That is insane. You're telling me anybody over at Ubisoft can't just pump out a game that follows the same formula?
I guess because this is going to be so different, I guess, with this game compared to the cut and paste of all the other fucking series they've done.
Take the next Assassin's Creed game, put a monkey in it, put Jade in it, and you're done. Call it Beyond Good and Evil 2. Never talk about it ever again. That's all you got to do. Save yourselves. Because I think it's officially like now the longest game that's been in development after surpassing Duke Nukem Forever. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. And nobody can ever say like, what about, what should we call it? What about, what's the game?
The space
box.
One. Okay.
No, that's not Citizen. What's the orange box? What's the one I always ask for? 3?
Half-Life.
Because it never was in development, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they at least never. Well, I mean, you could make the argument that the existence of Half-Life 2 episode 2 or whatever it was, the one that came out with Orange Box, you could make the argument that is an indication that episode 3 should be coming at least. That never happened, but yeah, they never put out a trailer for it.
Evidence, yeah, I know our evidence of that.
So, yeah, that's rough. Ubisoft needs to get its shit together in many ways.
It's a scam.
Exactly, it's a scam. Plus, you can play something from Star Citizen.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can milk more money out of you, but still.
And what's going on with Jordan Gordon-Levitt? With this company,
he's scamming too. Can I still submit my digital artwork? Can I create all AI artwork with one of those new programs? Submit that to Joseph Gordon-Levitt and get a paycheck, and also get a credit in this game. What can I do? What is he doing? He's doing that Apple series, right? I'm sure he's still doing something. All right, Dominic. So that was the news for this past week that I saw. We talked last week about the Game Awards premieres and mentioned that we would talk a little bit about the winners this week. I don't think we have to go through all of these categories, but we can go through some of the bigger ones, like the ones we talked about for our predictions. We'll start out here with Best Adaptation. Arcane, the League of Legends series on Netflix, won that. Which makes sense. That is a very good series.
Yeah.
Most anticipated game, which we all know is just like, yeah, okay, whatever. That was The Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom. We'll be seeing that soon. So, yeah, exciting. Best debut indie game. This is where we get into it, Dominic. You had some predictions about the way this would go based on the other categories last time we talked about it. Stray did, in fact, win that category as well as Best Debut Indie, which does make sense because it was the only game in these categories that also was nominated for Game of the Year, which may not be right because Vampire Survivors is very good and probably better than Stray, but whatever.
And Stray is a cat. So
Stray is a cat. So there you go. Best multiplayer game went to Splatoon 3. Best sim
and that's what cat. No, that's what I want to say about cat owners. You're lazy pet owners. Because all you gotta do, all this poop in the goddamn fucking kitty litter, that's all you have to clean up. You don't gotta go walk your cat. He just walks around the place. And I mean, you do. They're gonna say like, well, I gotta vacuum and stuff, so you gotta do that with a dog too, and you gotta take him out.
Yep. Oh, but I get my backpack with the clear bubble on the back, and I put my cat in it, and I take him for walks, Dominic. He loves it. All right. Best sim and strategy game went to Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Best family game went to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It feels like Nintendo had the biggest swath of like variety as far as how many of their games won. You also had Bayonetta 3 win Best Action Game. But then you had
competition in that one.
Best Action Game was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Now, here is my question. How is Sifu nominated for Best Action Game and also Best Fighting Game?
Wait a minute. Sifu was nominated for what?
Best Fighting Game, but also Best Action Game.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be stuck to one category?
Yeah. For that, yeah.
Yeah, that's
you're in a fighting game or your action game.
I didn't even realize that when we initially talked about these. That's messed up.
Dude, and are there any journalists who question these things? What kind of journalists people are these?
Journalists are the one that voted for these things, Dominic.
Yeah, but at least explain. I mean, come on. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody needs to answer for this. Jeff Keighley, we need answers. All right. Speaking of best fighting game, Multiverses won that game. Best role-playing game, you had Elden Ring. That, of course, won that category. Best action-adventure game went to God of War Ragnarok, as well as innovation in accessibility, which we've talked about in the past, has a ton of accessibility features in that game. You also had Ragnarok win Best Score and Music, Best Audio Design.
You know what, for accessibility, they should also have, like, for most inaccessible game. And it'd be yes. Like Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, there you go. We don't need to give Elden Ring more awards, Dominic. And Christopher Judge won Best Performance.
Get good game. It should be get good game.
There you go. He opened the show with his acceptance speech, which was like 7 minutes or something like that. Made poor Al Pacino stand off in the wings that entire time. He's too old to be standing there for that long. Somebody need to get him a chair. Let's see. What else do we got here? We've got Best Mobile Game was Marvel Snap. Best VR Game was Moss Book 2, Dominic. So you have that to look forward to once you finish Moss. Best Community Support went to Final Fantasy 14 over the likes of Fortnite and Destiny, Apex Legends, No Man's Sky.
Yeah. I had never played this game, but I can just imagine the audience being a little nicer in there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I can imagine like Apex Legends, this little hardcore and Fortnite. Yeah, I play with those kids. Yeah. They're assholes.
Even more so than like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy seems a little more inviting.
Yeah.
As far as its community goes. That also won Best Ongoing Game, which makes sense. Community
Which is also a problem to it within itself because I'm suspicious of that.
What's that?
I'll be suspicious if somebody's too nice.
Oh, yeah.
Well. And invited me. Yeah, I'll be like, oh.
They're just trying to invite you to their furry sex party or whatever. That's all.
That's exactly what it is. You see a whole bunch of those bunny women and bunny men. Those all together. So why everybody just the same class?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Walked into the wrong neighborhood in this game. All right. Game for Impact as Dusk Falls won that category. You also have Best Art Direction that went to Elden Ring. And Elden Ring also won Best Game Direction and Game of the Year, Dominic. Elden Ring just like us, when we finally do our categories, Elden Ring will win that as well, despite us not playing any of it, basically. Well, you played a little bit of it.
I played a little bit.
Yeah.
I got out whatever the hell I was, some dungeon or whatever it was. I got out there.
There you
go. Walked around that field and got killed.
Saw the wide expanse of Elden Ring.
Yep.
Yeah, but those are your winners for the Game Awards 2022. Mostly as expected, I think. Dominic, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't. The more years go, the more I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna get angry over something like not being caught. Well, this year I just don't really have anything, so I don't really have anything that I was like, oh, I need this. I'm lighting up this game. This game should win.
Yeah. So I appreciated how Jeff Keighley handled like the award stuff this year. I mean, I think he knows what people are there for. They're there for the kind of big things, the big premieres, but also like to see when, certain titles win stuff. So it was very much like, oh, here's a chance to have Christopher Judge talk. Here's a chance to celebrate Elden Ring as the game of the year. Here's a chance to celebrate things like innovation and accessibility. But for the most part, best action game, I'm just going to rattle this up.
To celebrate his union with
with Kojima. He didn't give Kojima any awards this year, Dominic. Come on. It's going to have to wait until Death Stranding 2 comes out.
His love.
That's true, yes. Best domestic partnership, Hideo Kojima. Yes. I'm happy for them. So I think he's got a good kind of thing down. I think the problem he's going to run into is like people taking these awards seriously when you're just kind of rattling them off and not giving like acceptance speech time and whatnot. But the reality is, and to an extent, this is the same with movies, but what they're celebrating a lot of times in movies is the actor or the designer or the filmography, things that you can pick a certain person to bring out and discuss. Whereas like if you just say best action game, are you going to bring the entire team of 200,000 people out on stage so they can get their applause? No, you're going to give them the stamp of approval, and then they can put the statue in their front lobby at the studio or something. So when they go into work every day, they can look at it and go, man, this isn't worth it, but I guess my paycheck is. So, I'm going to get through these 8 hours, these 24 hours that they make me sleep under the desk.
So they say like it was worth that we had like 20 people commit suicide doing this project. We made it work. We won this award.
That's only a Nintendo, Dominic. Well, and maybe From Software, the Japanese companies.
Me and Mo just take all those awards.
I just imagine a wall in his house literally made out of awards. He's like, yes, the plebes will fuel me for so many more years.
I haven't touched a computer in 10 years.
He just draws things on paper and throws it at people. Just make this a Mario game. Sir, there's no Mario on here. It's just more mushrooms and pipes. Make it into a Mario game. Throw a cat in there too. Okay, Mario's a cat now. All right.
Yes.
So those are the Game Awards. Anything else for the people before we get into new releases, Dominic?
No, I'm good.
All right, we got some big ones this week, Dominic. We have High on Life, of course, which we mentioned. That's out on PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series as, a Game Pass game. So if you've got that, you can check it out there. You also have River City Girls 2 out now on the PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles. River City 2, that's Girls 2, that's the beat-em-up, side-scrolling brawler.
Yeah.
It's reviewing pretty well from what I've seen, so that's cool.
Is this finally online co-op? So the other one surely wasn't.
That I do not know. Let's find out, Dominic. I think we're going to be disappointed. Oh, man. Up. Let's see. 4-player drop-in, drop-out couch, and 2-player online co-op are supported throughout the campaign.
Oh, okay. Then they actually do have 4-player, but it can't do 4 players online. But
which is so weird.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie, Dane. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can do 6 people or 8 people, where the fuck it is. I forgot what it was.
It's 6, right? Because you have the 4 turtles and then like Shredder or April O'Neil and I mean the thing that I don't understand.
Casey Jones, April O'Neil, Splinter.
Yeah, I think they have 7 characters, but you could only do 6-player co-op. I think. But what I don't get is like if you can do 2-player online co-op, what's stopping you from 4? Like, is it that much harder to program 4-player? I also wonder, like, how, if you buy this on the PC, how that Steam stuff works. Because, they have that stuff built in now where you can basically pretend like you're playing on the same couch as someone. So I wonder how well that stuff works. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that. But, yeah, at least there is some online co-op this time. And give them credit for that. We also have the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, PS5 and Xbox Series X versions. Those look very good. Seems like that is still a good game as it turns out.
There was some problem. Wasn't there some problems when it first came out, but they got a patch?
Oh, okay. Was there? Let's see.
Because I thought somebody was complaining. They were complaining about that.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt causing major performance issues for some players, according to IGN. After today's free next-gen update, PC players are reporting significant frame rate drops and bizarre textures and models rendering throughout Witcher 3. Posts over on the Witcher subreddit commonly reference hardware chugging reference hardware chugging along. But it doesn't seem like Geralt's adventure is simply fixed by expensive upgrades. Plenty of users with high-end graphics cards report the same issues. Oh, man. Let's see. Subreddit, blah, blah, blah. All right. The Witcher Twitter account stated on the 14th, we are aware of the issues PC players have been reporting since last night's release of the update. We are actively investigating all of the reports and will be providing an update on particular issues as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience. Oh, man. So it sounds like that may need some work on the PC.
Hopefully. So the PC got to upgrade. Okay, I guess upgrade for the newer graphics cards. But the console ones sound like they're pretty good then?
Yeah, it seems like they're running pretty well from the reviews I've seen for that stuff.
Take that, PC Master Race.
CD Projekt Red, I feel like, has done pretty well in the past to address these kind of issues pretty quickly when you don't take Cyberpunk into consideration. So we will see. Hopefully they iron those issues out pretty quickly for people wanting to play that prettier version on the PC. And then you also have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Dominic, that is out now on the PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles. I was watching a little bit of this on Twitch. It does not look as good as the Final Fantasy remake, so I think it's somewhere in between the remake and a remaster that explains why it can actually run on the Switch. Because that's what I was trying to figure out this morning was, does that game actually run on the Switch in any respectable way, shape, or form? But it seems like it is okay on the Switch. Obviously, you're going to get a prettier game on the consoles, but I've saw some reviews saying like, oh, hey, it's a more accurate to the PSP because it's playing on a portable if you play it on the Switch. That's just silly. People don't. It's just like, yeah, I could play it on my phone and it would also be more portable than a console, but that doesn't mean it's good. So.
Can you play it on your Apple Watch?
Can I? Not yet. Someday soon, Dominic. Someday soon. Yeah, so those are our new releases, Dominic. You got anything else for the people?
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. It seems like this might be our last episode for the year. We're going to take off next week, Christmas Eve recording, and pick back up on New Year's Eve. But by the time that podcast releases, it'll probably be the new year, since that's basically the last day of the year. So, as such, we would like to thank everyone for listening throughout this year and all of the previous years. 400 episodes. We've been going a while here, Dominic, and I know it's appreciated.
Yeah, we're gonna catch up with the Simpsons, Daniel.
Man, no, only if they stop, Dominic. Only if they stop.
I know they're never gonna stop.
Only if they stop and then also go back in time,
and they're gonna still keep going.
Yeah, because by then they'll have like AI voice modulators that can just take the voices of the actors and just generate tones that sound like those people, accurate within a certain decimal range or something like that. Yeah, so Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone that is listening, and thank you guys as always for listening. It's been a wild ride, 400 episodes, Dominic. I don't even remember what year.
Crazy Kwanzaa, Daniel.
I said happy holiday. I don't like to specify outside of Christmas because that's the only one that counts.
Yeah, Christmas is. I mean, come on. Everybody celebrates Christmas, even if you don't, you do.
We force you to through capitalism, Dominic. Come on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He buys people gifts, or you took somebody's gift. I want to see somebody turn out a gift saying, "I don't celebrate Christmas." Get out their hand.
Exactly. Yeah. So once again, thank you guys as always for listening. You check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStallworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Supapod, SUPAPOD. Supapod.com is the website. It has all of the podcasts, all 400 plus of them with the bonus stuff. You can listen to them there. There's also links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as audio places like iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify. And until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.
All right, see you.